But I'm assuming that you're getting notifications that you signed up to the
Type in
emails
as
for
we
the
go.
township.
I just got a new one, but I know I was before, but now.
To make sure you are.
That way you can go back.
Please,
Yeah, we go
because,
down there.
It's a great.
I'm working very hard to cut and do my very best to try to get you a week of it. To a chance to review it, so.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And when I read, I get an automatic.
Seven.
Okay, yeah, I get it automatic. It was into my email. Jay, same with you.
What's that?
It's fire.
You need to make sure you're signed up to get the notices from the township for both the planning commission and the board meetings. They should get your email.
Okay.
We all need to be doing that. I get it that way. You get that way, right? Ken? I mean, you're on
Yeah, I
iCompass.
get
and-
it, but I
yeah,
don't,
right,
yes, I got them coming that way, but I never look at them there.
yeah, okay. All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Everybody's here tonight. So we're gonna call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Let's stand up and do the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, cartoons.
Showtime.
Let's do a roll call. Frank Grebush,
Here.
Dave Marcelletti,
Here.
Jay Foskey,
Here.
Ken Spicer,
Here,
Kate Schrank, here. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is approve.
you get here early enough to set that up. Looney Tunes.
We want to approve the agenda.
We want to add to the agenda.
Ken wants to add something to the agenda tonight. Do you want to explain what it is?
This land division ordinance, basically, it's just for us to take a look at. There's section D was added to allow the township to allow people to go to the ask for a variance for the depth of width.
Why don't you give a little background? There was a board meeting last week with a family that showed up that wants to do a land division.
Karen, do you want that?
No, what is it?
I would come over there, but I trip over that cord.
Why don't you give a little background on, a couple of our family showed up, they want to do, they, what, 10 acres and they want to divide it, and what was the problem?
We had an individual that had less than 10 acres and they wanted to donate the property to their children. And when you did the ratio of 1 to 4, they had over 100 feet on road, each of the lots, like it was 130. So they can only go back on 600 feet for the lot size according to the state of Michigan. There's a wetland behind them, so the property is really not any useful benefit for it. So in those cases, the law would allow us to, in our ordinance, allow them to go all the way back to the end of the boundary of the property so that they could have a straight strip of lot instead of having a lot over here that goes over the top of it as a parent property. So we have allowed that for other people, even though that was not quite correct to do, because it wasn't in our ordinance that we could do that. So what I was asked to do, I think at the last meeting, is to get something in order so that we could take a look at it. So I did that and I got it done. Is that this morning?
I got it at 4:30 a.m. this morning. I don't think, I think Ken wrote it and Ken and I spoke. And I asked him if he wanted to put it on the agenda, we could, but we have no authority over this. We don't approve this ordinance this is a police power ordinance. It's kind of like the short-term rental ordinance that we're gonna look at tonight. We don't approve it. We just
You just look at it.
look at it and might make some comments.
Well, you could make comments to me that
Yeah.
maybe you ought to add this or add that. I just picked out, I know wetland would be one of them. I know terrain would be another.
So do we want to add this to the ordinance, to the agenda tonight?
That's the question.
That's the question. Tasha is also not here. My own view is I'm happy to add it to the agenda, but I don't really want to talk about it because we just got it. And put it on the agenda for, as old business, first thing next month, if you
Well,
still want our input.
The township board might approve it.
But you can just take it to the board. Yeah,
They might approve it if, I'll get it out to them after this meeting.
just in general.
But I just wanted to give you an opportunity to look at it. If you had something that stands out and says,
Do you want to add it to the agenda tonight? Are you prepared to talk about it? Do you want to add it to the?
yeah, I'll make a motion that we put it on the agenda, add it to the agenda.
Anyone want to second that?
I want to read it first.
This, just, if you go in there and look in the red, there's, go back, there's just three things that's added to it, or four things, for A, B, C, and D, something like that. That's the only thing I'm adding to it, and that allows us to make the change, that it talks about the law that allows us MCL, 560-109,
Yeah.
section 5, and they gave three things that you could do, and I put the three things in there.
So, yeah, so Mike, I'm not, does anybody want to second a motion to add this to the agenda? Because this is already. We have to decide if we want to talk about it tonight or not. Do you want to move it to next month instead, if the board doesn't resolve it on its own?
Well, this is mainly a board issue.
It's really a board issue, yeah.
Well, the board's got final approval, it's a police ordinance,
Okay.
Yeah.
just like the short-term rental.
Yeah,
You looking at the short-term rentals, I thought, all you gotta do is look at it, you know, if you. Yay, nay.
yes, do we have a second on the motion to add it to the agenda, yes or no?
I'll second.
We do want to take a vote?
Yeah.
Do you want to add it to the agenda,
Yes.
David?
Sure.
Kate, no? Ken?
Yes,
Jay?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll add it to the agenda under new business. We'll talk as H2. Okay. Is there
Yep.
anything, the rest of the agenda is okay? Can we approve it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve these. With one,
With the one
the
change,
one addition.
H2, a new
H2.
H2, yeah. For a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Okay.
Aye.
Agenda's approved. The next thing we need to do is we need to approve the minutes from our prior two meetings. So let's quickly look at the minutes. You should have looked at them already from August 20th, which was the special meeting that we had with Vesper Energy. We need to approve those minutes and put them in final. Get them in an approval status for final. Are there any comments on those minutes? And are you able to show things on the screen?
I've narrowed down the issue. There's a loose, connection here. And if I hold it a certain way, it'll
Seriously?
show up, yeah. So. I've gotten it to go up there for a second, but
Is
it's,
there another connection you can use?
I don't have one.
do you have Wi-Fi?
I have Wi-Fi.
Well,
Yeah, just one.
you get up a Wi-Fi.
How do you do that?
Just you gotta click on that.
Comment on the minutes.
Mhm.
I'm just noticing different spellings for different
I'm already
names.
connected to it.
I don't know if you guys care about.
I do, I just got these myself, yeah, we're trying to,
I thought it was right here.
I don't know if that's part of icons.
No,
It's
that's-
Built in.
that would be the way they would have been put in. Which names do you see that were misspelled? Marcelletti's misspelled
Yeah, Marcelletti's is spelled on one.
on
of
roll
them.
call.
Or you could say they kept.
Yeah, and that's where I'm looking.
Okay.
And
Just go back and
Frank,
say
you
connect
know,
this
you do
to
have a
the
different
rest.
last name, but I'm seeing two
Then it's
different
still on
spellings
screen.
and I'm not sure either one is correct.
I don't
On
even-
September or August.
I don't know.
And Ken's last name is spelled incorrectly in August.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
so-
Well, that's great.
All right, hang on, he's our secretary. Yeah, he needs to hear that.
Hang on, I can write on the other one. So the one on August 20th is wrong.
So what do I need?
The names are misspelled of the board members or the commission members. Ken's name's misspelled, Dave's name's misspelled, and Frank's last name is misspelled under roll call.
Is that in
The August minutes.
August minutes?
Mhm.
Okay.
Anything else, Karen, that you noticed?
September, you need to check the same thing.
Okay. Well, let's stay with August right now. Anything else on August? Anybody else?
No, I didn't see anything.
Can we approve these with those changes?
Yeah.
May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Then I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Let's go to the September tenth minutes. Are all of your names spelled correctly here?
Nope.
What's not spelled correctly?
My last name,
How do you spell your last name?
GRUBISICH.
G-R-U,
BISICH.
Okay.
Grubisic.
I don't think I've seen it spelled that way one time.
Yeah, it was, and
Somewhere, I mean, I think I've spelled it about 3 different times, so I'm glad that,
I wasn't here, so maybe
Okay.
that's why.
all right. So we need to change the spelling of Frank's name.
Because that's not the same as it is on this one either, so. I'm just missing an I on this.
Well, it's not an O, it's a U, G-R-U-B-I-S. Oh, there's no H in there either. Okay.
Correct.
Any other
it's
sub,
working.
great, any other changes to the September minutes besides name spelling?
No, I'm fine, but,
A motion to approve the minutes?
okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes and correct the spelling of the names.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No. Okay. Any public comment? We can receive public comments at this time. Karen?
I'll give you a couple brief, the early agenda, I can just tell you, I am one of the people that signs up to get the automated messages, and I was pleased to see it come out early. And then when I checked it today, it hadn't even changed. It was actually the same from last week to this week, which was great. As far as short-term rentals, I'm just kind of getting up to speed with where you guys left off too. And I know there were a lot of petitions, and I'm not sure if what you were aiming for in the petitions has totally been addressed yet. Because it does look like maybe you're still planning to regulate commercial rentals instead of distinguishing commercial rentals. That part I'm not clear on, and maybe when you guys get to it. But as far as master plan, I know protecting lakes is like number one of what got the highest scores of people caring about, so just bring that up. I'll be listening more than anything else when you get to the topics.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, would you mind just stating your name for the record? Thank you.
If I recall, there was something mentioned about possibly, hiring a blight officer.
Mhm.
I was wondering if that was still, something that was being, thought about.
I was supposed to answer questions.
Well, right now, we're in a new process. We've sat down with Tasha, the sheriff, Gary Gruss, and we developed a process. Now we're seeing how well that process works. And if that process is going fine, we're probably gonna stay with that. It takes a lot of time to get from point A to point B with this. And, we're trying to get people to do it on their own accord for cleanup. And the last thing we would like to do is have to take them to court to do that. We do have a few that are there. And that is another process that takes a long time, and it's just a long time to get it, but a lot of times they're just taking care of it now. We still have problems out in the Saddle Lake subdivision with the RVs that come in there and they park on lots. Some of the lots they park on, they don't even own, and they're just squatting. And Dan, that picture with all those, porta potties going back in there, that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
So
It's one of the complaints that we.
we probably ought to write that up as another complaint is that,
So you know how to write up what you do,
Daily thing too, porta potties going up and down the road there.
if you have a complaint, you need to. Did you put the complaint yet on the township website? Is it up there yet?
did I
The complaint
just heard
form?
about it tonight.
No, the complaint form that we agreed to at our meeting.
I done it and I sent it on. I don't know if it got up there.
Okay,
I'll
we
check
met
on
a couple weeks ago, and came up with a complaint form and a process so that. You know, Ruth would get an email or a phone call, and that starts the process. And then from there, it goes to Gary or Tasha to sort of sort out, is it a real complaint or not? If it's a real complaint, I hear about it and I keep the spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet that's in tonight's agenda packet is a real spreadsheet of blight and zoning complaints that we are tracking. And then I'm updating it, as Tasha and Gary give me information throughout the month, I'm updating it so that the planning commission and the board meetings, both those meetings, you're getting a new spreadsheet. So we've only been doing that 2 months now, but already quite a few have fallen off because they've been addressed. There's still quite a few that need to be addressed, but it is a process.
Does it also fall under, like if, people live, move on property, they're living in property villas, they never even got any permits.
That's probably zoning and call and make a complaint and given, what we are asking people to do when they call and make a complaint, we get a lot of this. Hi, there's this house over there on 53rd Street, about 3 houses down. So we're asking for an address. If you call us and make a complaint, give us an actual address and we can take it from there,
Okay?
if that helps. And
Contact info for the complaint.
we can usually get that too, if we just have the address. Yeah. Yeah, we can get all that's public information. Yeah,
Well, we don't get an
You can
email,
make up
phone
the
number.
address.
they may or may,
We
not.
really need.
The complainant may not, person making a
Yeah.
complaint may not have that information. But I would say just watch the process, give us a few months here, it is beginning, but we're hoping to see some improvement. And if not, that would be the next question.
Well, I think we're already seeing an improvement.
Maybe,
I
yeah,
mean, you got coming off and being done.
5 years.
yeah, it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you, yeah. So pay attention with us and let us know if you think things are moving fast enough. Yes,
I just want to mention that in the corner of 51st and Sycamore, there's some construction going on.
could you state your name for the record?
Lorraine Westbury.
Yes,
I asked the guy if he had permits and he said, yeah, but I called soil erosion and sedimentation because he's bringing in fill. And he's closer than 500 feet from the wetland.
would you please make a call to give an address to Ruth?
He doesn't have an address, so I don't know.
yeah, you got address one.
I've already talked to the soil erosion and,
It's the same person.
Cody is, sending them a letter of violation.
It's the same person? Then it's actually, it's already on our list, it's already on our list then.
Hauling all the sand, then you got an excavator down at, the end of the road that we're watching to see what he does right now.
You should see his name on the list.
Sounds like it's.
Did you look at the agenda? Did you look at the list? Cause I believe that situation is on the list right now.
So they're supposed to verify in person yesterday, but I spoke with some notice
Yeah,
regarding different matters. They were coming to us.
are you, yeah,
Could you state
Maybe
your
all
name again?
persons.
okay. Are there any other public comments?
What was her name?
Lori.
Lorraine Westbury,
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
STSTRATE.
there'll be another chance for public comments, so we'll move on if that's okay for now. We have a few old business items to move through pretty quickly here. Our zoning administrator is not feeling well tonight, so she's not here, so we'll move G1, which is the status of her recommended changes to setback ordinances. We'll move that to next month. G2 is I did talk to Andy Moore, who is handling our project at Williams and Works. Remember, they're doing an overview of all of our zoning ordinances and they're gonna give us a gap analysis. We should have that by next month when we meet. We should be able to start going through their recommendations. Which is one of the reasons I'm a little reluctant with these one-off zoning changes that are being made, because we're getting ready to do a whole analysis. And I want to do it correctly, not piecemeal, hot shots here and there. And the other thing that I'm just personally interested in is when we get these zoning ordinances up to date, I want them written in plain language, not legalese. And so that's the other thing that we'll be working on. And the short-term rental ordinance that we're looking at should be an example of a plain written, like, you know, and you tell me if you like it. I think most people do. But that's just something that we'll be working towards. Any questions about that? So hopefully next month we'll actually have some results from Williams and Works. And then we have an update on the Parks Committee. We've been meeting every 2 weeks. And we continue to get input from the local schools. We got input from the local Bloomingdale schools, but not yet the Bangor schools. Most of our students are in the Bangor schools, so we definitely want the input from the schools on what their recreational needs are. But we are hearing soccer fields would be very helpful. And we're starting to get some costs together. The committee is well aware of the fact that we don't really have any money in the budget for this. They're well aware of the fact that if we get anything off the ground, we'll probably need to do it through crowdfunding, but we're willing to give it a shot because we think that there's enough interest in this town. It's also in the master plan. It's one of our values, and we've done nothing in 10 years to address the parks and recreation in this town. We have this beautiful area back here. So we're proceeding. We're going to the fire department next week. The park committee is. We've got a flyer. We're going to start handing out flyers, asking for people's ideas for the park. Also asking you to come to a meeting if you want to contribute. We're looking for a way to develop the park that takes care of everybody's needs. And our first priority is likely going to be a walking path, because a walking path is something that anybody can use no matter what age or stage of life. And it would of course be ADA compliant. So, and then probably a soccer field at the same time is sort of the way we're thinking, but none of this has gone through a public process. And we won't know for sure till we get through the public process. But we hope to have by early spring next year, a well-developed plan and a well planned public session, probably in the park outside, to start getting public input on what we're thinking about for the park. Any questions on that?
No.
Just to give you an idea, if we do a walkway north of the cemetery here, that's about a half a mile. If we do an 8-foot wide parkway and about 1,700 feet, that's about 13,600 square feet of asphalt. That would be our big cost. We're pretty sure we can get the walkway grading. The excavation can be done. It's the cost of the asphalt that we'll probably have to look for crowdfunding for. And then the soccer field, you can almost do it at the same time because you're really just grading the field. And we're doing practice fields is the thinking. So anyway, we're always looking for input. That's kind of where we're at right now. No other comments? Okay, next item meeting G4, status of notifying the public about shipping containers requiring building permits. Do you want to talk about this, Ken? This was your issue.
I got the shipping container notice. I also got short-term rental notice.
We're just on.
And I also have the complaint form. And I looked to see if I sent them off the car to add them to our website.
Well, let's tell everybody what the shipping container is all about. Let's just stick with that for now. So the shipping, the question.
At our last planning commission meeting, we said that the shipping containers square footage is considered an accessory building.
Yeah.
So you're only allowed to have so many shipping containers till you exceed what your zoning ordinance for the size of lot that you have in shipping containers on your property. I think it has some other rules that, accessory buildings have to be in the backyard, so they got some criteria they're gonna have to live with them, so basically the notice tells them that it's considered an accessory building and located in accordance with, their district.
Yeah, we came up with our zoning administrator helped us understand that the, container issue doesn't require any new zoning ordinances. Our current zoning ordinances already handle adequately the placement of containers on property. It's just a matter of letting people know that they can't just
She-
plop a container down.
He also indicated that the new code came out, it includes shipping containers as an accessory building. So it's now listed in the building code.
Okay,
And if you're less than the 200 square feet, it still doesn't require a building permit, but you still have to get a zoning compliance for location.
okay. I was looking to see if I could find the notice and read it to you guys. We made it pretty short and sweet. I thought are we gonna put that in the newsletter or anything like that? So that people know?
Well, there's been talk about getting the newsletter in the December tax bill, which is gonna have to happen soon. I'll get with the,
So the zoning
Very-
violation, here's, is this what I gave you? Or is that yours?
I think that's the final one
Is that the
that,
final one?
Tasha. Was it say zoning violation? That's
Yeah, I don't
that's
think-
not the latest.
I don't think
She
that's
got
the
rid of
latest.
violation.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I guess the issue is just we'll keep it on the agenda till we know that it's on the website. Is that right? That's what we want
Yeah,
to
and if
do.
we see it on the website, we don't need to put it on the agenda.
Okay, all right. And then the last,
Is the shipping container the same zoning as like a utility shed, like if you're gonna bring in a utility?
an
shed,
accessory building,
it's
yeah,
the same-
yes, that's
Then if
right.
you plan on making it a dwelling, which is a new thing, you have to have an engineering design. And you have to have a foundation and it has to be strapped down according to the code.
That'd go the same.
And that's why the code got involved, is that a lot of people are building them, moving into them, but they made them not structurally sound anymore. So,
That would apply also to if they were gonna make a garage, like say, they have a shipping container and then they put a roof and incorporate it.
yeah, that's an accessory building.
Yeah,
Same thing.
they'd have to go
But they're
through,
not tied down. Right? No.
that would probably need a foundation. There are certain sizes need foundations depending on the use of the building. That's why it has to go through a permit process. So depending on the use, it might need a foundation. So really the issue there, we were glad to figure out, the issue there is just really public education about zoning laws that are already in place that require people to check with the township on whether a container can just be plumped down on your land. There's setbacks and all that. Okay, the next thing is for in old business, the final thing is this zoning and blight complaint sheet. So we've already had a little bit of discussion and public comment about that. Do you guys have any comments? Things are moving along a little bit. You've got it in your agenda packet. You're gonna have to enlarge it to see it, but you definitely can do that. So it's fairly easy to track. Does anybody have any comments on it? We're up to, I think, 23.
I like you got the good status in there, what's going on.
Yeah,
That's very helpful.
yep. Do you wanna, can you show it?
So is that also on the website?
It's in the agenda packet, not on the website. It's in the agenda packet. Yeah, you guys all need to be getting that.
Will that be on the website?
No, we don't put this on the website. It changes once or twice a month. As I get information from Tasha and from
And I think it'd be too-
and Gary, so it changes regularly.
Because I would like to see it once in a while.
You can see it every month
said
in
it's
your
in the
agenda packet.
That would be on-
Once we get them.
In your agenda packet. It's been in your agenda packet for the last two meetings and also in the,
Why is
So
those
it's
at the
gonna-
last
so it's
meeting?
gonna-
I didn't order.
yeah, You did, you're just not signed up to get your package, so that's on you.
Then signed up.
Okay, we'll
Because
do it
I got
again.
them at first and now I'm not getting them.
Yeah, do it again.
You're
Sign up
good.
again. Yeah, I get mine.
She wanted
Okay.
me to show it, so. But
Can you show it or not?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's here.
Can you enlarge it? Yeah, what I do on, yeah, you gotta enlarge. It's not easy to take an Excel spreadsheet and put it in a form where you can see it. The best I can do is get it on one page, and then when you get it on your computer screen, you're gonna have to enlarge it. Here it is. Can you enlarge it? There you go.
Yeah, you got it on your side
So we think
here.
the mere fact that we're posting the blight and complaint sheet in the planning commission and the board agenda packets every month, that alone will get people talking. We've never done this before. So that alone, we think, helps people understand that we're serious about it. So it's all up to date. No questions? Concerns?
No, just other limits.
Okay. Okay, so then we can move on to new business, which is the new business, which is the short-term rental ordinance, and I did get an email from Jeff Sobel. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
Because he also saw that I had the draft up there a week ago. And he wrote us a letter indicating he had some comments. I have that letter here. I was gonna read it into the record. Bear with me. Okay. He says, there are a few things I find draconian, but the main one is occupancy limits. 12, okay, I got an email from Jeff Sobel, who's a short-term rental owner, and he sent Ken and I an email, and here's what it says. Do you want to read it? Here are a few things I find draconian. The main one is occupancy limits. 12 is arguably appropriate for an urban environment or a town with a housing density like South Haven, but we're in a much more rural area where some of the houses are on much more land. Our house, for example, is on 3 acres and is about 4,400 square feet. There's nothing comparable in South Haven. It makes no sense just to lift the occupancy restrictions from a place like South Haven and use them where we are. At a minimum, there should be a leeway for houses on more than 1 or 2 acres of land. I also don't understand the arbitrary restriction based on lake frontage. We rent to multi-generational families where grandparents are typically bringing kids and grandkids, and we cap and enforce ours at 17, which works for this type of group. There's no way we could make it work with a 12-person restriction. We'd probably have to sell off or develop our property in parcels to recoup our investment. There is also a specific clause that makes it clear there is no grandfather provision. Even South Haven recognized the investment made by owners prior to the revision of the STR ordinance and allowed 16 persons for existing rentals. I don't understand the restriction to allow 1 rental period per week. What does it matter if one family comes for 3 days or another for 4? I hope the quiet hours of the good neighbor policy apply to everyone on the lake, not just renters. We have people on our side of the lake partying and keeping us up late at night on a regular basis. The remaining issues are minor by comparison. If the restrictions put us out of business, I hope we're not forced to cancel our already booked rentals for next year. At least having another year would allow us to decide how to best proceed with the property. Looking forward to discussing further. And then he sent a list of what regulations might include, which would be registration and fees, limits on number of units by geography, capacity units, inspection, including septic and life safety, insurance requirements, local agent representative, pets, boating, complaints. I think most of that is already addressed in the short-term rental ordinance. But those are the public comments we've received on the draft ordinance to date. Anybody receive anything else? Okay. And then I want to just disclose before we get into this conversation, what each relationship on the commission, what if any relationship we have in the whole short-term rental situation. Are we short-term rental owners ourselves? Are we short-term renters? Do we live next to a short-term rental? And it's speaking for myself, my family and I have rented on Saddle Lake for about 8 years, and prior to that, we went to Door County for about 10 years. So that's just a lifestyle that I've raised my children that way, and now I'm a grandmother. I've got 12 grandkids, and so we do, now we're into an every other year because the family's getting older and all of that. But that is my perspective. I know what it's like to go out and get a good sized house for a large family with a lot of kids. We are that family. So I have that perspective. How about you, Frank?
Just with the lake, just the lake, health of the lake, just with the houses that they're renting, are they too many people in the house? You're gonna have a big party from,
No, you yourself, do you have a short-term rental? Do you live next to
No,
a short-term
no,
rental?
I
Do you live on Saddle Lake?
I
That's what
live on Saddle Lake.
I think everybody needs to know where we're coming from. So,
That's where the lake comes in.
okay, all right.
And boating, people that, that's hard to regulate.
Do you have short-term renter folks living next to you?
No, we don't,
Okay,
No.
okay,
but I had to use the rentals on the lake for parties that I've had,
okay,
so.
okay. How about you, Dave?
I live in the ag district, but for probably 30 years, my wife and I were landlords,
Mhm.
so we have some knowledge about what's entailed.
Mhm.
And is this gonna affect the ag district also, or is it just for the lake areas?
It's written just for lakes.
Just for lakes,
Mhm.
okay.
I think I bought a cottage in 1980 and I was over there mowing and somebody come up and wanted to rent it. I wouldn't walk in it and, they wanted to rent it, so I had my first rental, came in and cleaned my cottage, furnished my cottage. And then they became a very long time rental and they also had their family start renting my cottage and it ended up starting a rental business that I didn't even start. And in 1998, I tore the old cottage down and built them a brand new one. And they all cried on the steps when they came because they liked the old one with the raccoons under the floor and the bat would fly through the cottage and they were a little more veteran. So for about 30 years, I think I only advertised maybe a couple times to fill in some people that actually got too old and passed away. And when I retired, I told them I'm not into the rental business and I slowly dwindled down to where I'm not renting anymore. I did weekly, I didn't do any short term, it was from Saturday to Saturday and I was booked every year for about 30 years. So, yeah, I've done it. I'm retired, it's enough's enough.
Do you live next to a short-term rental unit by chance?
The cottage next to me now is not short-term rental anymore, and neither side of me are short-term rental.
Okay. I think it just helps. I think
I
everybody
live on
knows where
Fire
we're
Lane
coming from.
15, there
Yeah,
are other ones on that fire lane, but I don't get bothered by them where I'm at.
okay. But you, Jay?
I don't live near any short-term rentals.
You don't live in the lake?
No.
Okay, so why don't we just dive into this ordinance? What do you think? You've had a chance to look at it, hopefully.
So at this point, it's not allowed, right? Short-term rentals.
No, I think there's a difference of opinion on that. I think two lawyers in a room could disagree about that.
So I thought our lawyer said it was not allowed.
She takes that point of view, but research can go the other way too. And the townships around us have taken the point of view that, I mean, none of them have tried to stop it because they knew that they were taking place. In our case, we've had zoning ordinances in place since at least the 1980s. We designated areas as residential, we defined them as having single-family homes, but we didn't exempt short-term rentals. And we've changed our ordinances many times since then, and we've never exempted short-term rentals, knowing full well they were going on during the whole time, and that's true for the, hold on a second, please. That's true for the townships all around us. So the township board decided not to put a moratorium on short-term rentals while we debate this issue. I think their thinking was it would potentially cause more problems than it would solve. Because the moratorium read something like this, the proposed moratorium read something like, short-term rentals can't be licensed or certified in the township until we figure out what we're gonna do from a regulation standpoint. Well, we don't license or certify short-term rentals, so it was a moratorium that confuses people. Probably would result in a lot of calls to the board, and the board decided not to insert more confusion, which I'm glad they did that. I think that was the right decision, but here we are. Nonetheless, moving through a short-term rental ordinance, and they are still going on. We know that. We know that. We've known that for decades, and we never changed our zoning ordinances, but it does not expressly allow them. And what's happened with the Airbnb world and some court cases, because of the Airbnb world, because what used to be a sleepy lake with some rental activity, now we've got these bigger entities that are just for commercial activity of renting, like a small hotel. And that is causing problems for people, and that's why we're here. Sir,
What type of time is considered short term?
well, in this ordinance, the draft says, anything less than 27 days. Most of the, yeah,
Just because, people in board before you and before other people didn't change anything, doesn't make it right. It doesn't change the fact that, it's still was illegal. And, now trying to make it look like everything was fine because they didn't do anything, I don't think that's okay.
I know that's your view. At all times, it's been a public access lake. We do have private lakes in this township. Saddle Lake is not one of them. So,
But
yeah.
it is a commercial activity.
And that is new. I mean, so the whole idea of it being called a commercial activity, that you won't find cases 20 years ago that say that.
Right.
These are cases that are new that have come up as a result of the whole Airbnb world, and that is changing the culture of some of these small lakes. You can see it. I get it.
And you're saying that's because of public access?
It's a public access lake.
Well, most lakes are. If you can get a trail, one road down to a lake.
Not all are, but
Not all are,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you have a business on the lake because it's public access. I mean, you're buying
the
property,
fact is, we have allowed them
Mhm.
for decades, and so have nearby townships. And none of them have,
I don't think that we have allowed them. I don't think we knew. I don't think the township board knew. I think if somebody read our master plan and thought single family dwelling, and the intent of our master plan and our zoning ordinance is that we are trying to get single family dwellings so that we get more population, so our township grows and can actually be able to get more revenue into our township from our state revenue sharing, because that's based on population, not on our taxes that we charge the people. We don't get any real revenue from that. So I think when you look at our ordinance, I just think we didn't know that single family dwelling meant you can't have a rental. But then when you think about it, it says we're not gonna have a business in that too. So I think our ordinance is telling us that, but I don't
I think
I didn't know.
our
Yeah.
ordinance is behind the times. I think the
I-
times have changed. We knew those short-term rentals were going on. I rented a house next to you 10 years ago. I mean, we knew they were happening. We can't say they did.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to let you know that there's the other side. And the other side is our master plan, our zoning ordinance and that. Now, I think they've been doing it for a long time, like you say.
Yeah,
We gotta do something. We gotta figure out the right
so
thing.
we're
to-
here. We've got an ordinance in front of us. We were trying to get through did you guys read the draft ordinance?
I read, yeah, I
Okay.
just zipped through it today.
Okay, do you have comments on the ordinance?
I can't, well, I have comments on, like going back to
Yeah.
Ken, didn't know. Now, when they pull a permit to build a monstrous house, does that permit know that it's built for Airbnb? I mean, which that one house definitely was. Well, it wasn't built for a
They
single
have to
family.
get a zoning compliance for a single family dwelling, the permitted use. And we've been issuing those.
Right,
So
but it's not that.
there's been a disconnect. There's a disconnect.
Yeah,
Right.
we don't wanna, you haven't been here for a few meetings and I
Okay.
understand that, but a lot of this has been debated and
Okay.
it's been through the board. And it was given back to us to draft an ordinance. And there is a difference of opinion on whether they're allowed or not. I think there's good arguments both ways. But my concern is I'm glad the township isn't acting in a way that's gonna invite litigation. Which I think it would do if you put a moratorium on short-term rentals for folks that have been operating like that for a long time. They would have a very good argument, in my view. It's not just my view, that's a research point of view. So here we are trying to come up with a short-term ordinance, and I wanted your comments on the draft. The idea is to move through this somewhat quickly. I want your comments, then Ken and I are gonna meet with two separate groups of folks. Groups of short-term renters and groups of non-short, and folks that don't want short-term rentals at all. So both short-term rental owners and those that don't want them. And try to absorb those ideas into this next draft is kind of what the thinking is. But I need your input. I need you guys to be up to date on the ordinance and I need your input.
Well, I like that. Jeff, when's you gonna be available? When can you be available?
I thought we were gonna meet after this meeting, but is that not the case?
I don't think we have, all the people involved.
Oh, I see. Just, let me know, I'll try to figure something out my schedule.
Well, I would like you to give me when you can meet with us, because I think you're gonna be one of our key
Sure.
people. Yeah,
Um,
I would like to make sure that we got you there and then I work the others with your schedule.
yeah,
So give me a couple dates and times and then we'll get something worked out
sure.
quickly, sooner the better,
One
probably.
Jim,
Same thing with Monterey, we're gonna be looking for you to give us a date and time that you're gonna be available, and I think you got one of your neighbors also that wants to sit on that.
Not only one, yeah.
Well, yeah, I got some names in there, I gotta put that, because they gave me a name, so I'll have to add them to the list, but we're looking for about 5 people on each side to give us a real good flavor for what's going on, so.
did
Are
you,
you limiting?
just a
how many
second.
people?
did you have a comment? I'm sorry. Thank you for being patient.
You're talking about this agenda you sent out, I never received it.
Are you signed up to get email notifications for the planning commission?
Well, I don't know about, I got it from the regular commissioner from the.
From the board, yeah, you need to be signed up to get email notices from both planning commission and the board. This is,
You can go to the board and get my email and send it to me.
excuse
Why
me,
do I have to be, why do I have to register with you too for my email,
so I know you want the updates?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know a thing about this, what you're talking about. that.
Okay.
Can we tell them how to sign it?
sure, yeah, can you show them on the screen how to shine it? We'll show you.
Website?
We're gonna go to the website right now and show you, all of you, like
I've seen
everybody.
it. I've signed up once already and I used to get them and now I don't.
Nothing on the speaker or nothing else. Ken told me to sit right here underneath the speaker. The guy in the brown shirt, I didn't hear one word he said.
Do you wanna move up? Would that help?
Did anybody bother to turn this on?
I don't think I got the mic.
Hello,
Is this any better?
it's on now.
They were on before.
No, it's on now.
Sorry about that.
Well, I'm glad good day to me. I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on here. This, I've been coming here every day and try to see what's going on. Ken knows that,
I'm glad you're here.
yeah.
Is everybody in this room getting email updates? Did everybody get an agenda packet? Are you signed up? Because our best meetings are gonna be when everybody comes ready to go and you've read the materials.
Read it this afternoon.
So, yeah, I can't help it if you're, yeah.
Well, you're talking about it.
It
what
was a
good is it?
PC.
We're gonna show you how to do it right now.
So, actually, let's see, where was it?
This is the website.
Okay, where is the, where do I go
On
now?
the
Not there.
page.
Not there?
Not there.
Where I'm not moving towards the- Yeah, maybe. And
If you have written communications, what's the you notice on the township? The township, right, is it?
is it?
So just clean up on the homepage. Right.
There it is,
public
right there.
notices.
There, right there. Go down, I think.
Keep going
Keep
down.
going down. There you go.
Subscribe to
Subscribe to receive news and updates in your inbox. Sign up and you should get everything
And you should
automatically.
Get both. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're on a computer, you should be getting them directly to your email. That's how we do it. Yeah,
I figured you went to the commission. Well, once you did that, I filled that out once and I figured everybody got it. On the board here, I didn't know I had to do it individually to you, to the planning commission and the.
you should you should be able to just do it once and that's enough.
Well, I did it to the regular, to the other commission, so.
I don't know what to tell you.
At any time, you could go to our township website and you can pick up the agenda. It's out there.
I tried it a couple times and all I got were the minutes and then what?
Come on into the office, I'll show you how to do it.
Pardon?
Come see me in the office, I'll show you how to do it.
Or after this
I'll
meeting
sign you
tonight,
up.
or
I'll help
even,
you sign up.
even after the meeting tonight, we can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll sign you up after the meeting.
Well, I don't know how late you're gonna go to.
we won't be that long because I don't
We're
think.
gonna be done if we stop
Yeah.
talking.
That was so funny.
Okay, so just by way of background, the way we got to the ordinance as it is now, okay, because it's a first draft, we know it's gonna change. We got to the first draft by looking at other townships around us. Our lawyer came up with the draft. I got a lot of comments from Ken and others. Put all that together and ran it through, to get rid of legalese. And then compared that provision to the lawyer's provision to make sure nothing was left out. So that's where we're at. Is there anything that you want to talk about with respect to the ordinance that's caught your eye?
Not the ordinance so much. I'm still concerned about how you're gonna enforce it.
Okay,
And that we should definitely have a representative of the properties close by. Not 45 minutes away, but like 15 minutes away.
I think we have an hour in there right now. They have to be available within an hour. Either the owner or a local agent has to be available by, within an hour. And
An hour seems like a stretch.
I think a lot of times the owner probably is gonna take care of it with one phone call and then call them back and say, is it quiet now? Or is it your problem resolved?
it's a new process. We can, what other townships do is they start the process with something that they think they can handle, especially from an enforcement standpoint, and then you can look at it every year.
You know, but I think you have to look at it from the worst case situation. Not the best case situation where somebody's doing everything right and you'll never have a problem out of them. You gotta consider the absolute worst and the people that will ignore the ordinance and just do whatever they want.
So do you guys understand what the process is as described in the draft? What a owner would need to go through at this point? Right, so they're providing a lot of information, they're providing insurance information, they're getting a septic inspection, they're getting a fire inspection. It's a fairly complete process and
Through occupancy. of
yes,
the house
I
or
mean,
square
the
footage.
fire department has to go out there, take a look at whether they've got smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, ingress, egress for sleeping. The septic, Van Buren County Health has to come out and take a look at the septic once every 3 years. I would think on the lake, that would be the thing that, if I were a lake owner, that would be the thing I would be most concerned about, because my understanding is that you can have a 50-year-old house, and unless it's transferred hands, there's nobody inspecting the septic systems on the lake, so,
True.
that's true for all the houses, so I would think a septic inspection would be really important. If the septic is too small, the size of the septic and the number of beds from an occupancy standpoint and safety equipment like fire, monitors and egress and ingress and egress. To me, those are the things that should govern how many people should be in a house.
Big time. I mean, and the problem is now what I was reading and through the riparian report was they have cleaning people come in.
Mhm,
So they use all these chemicals that go into the septic tank,
mhm.
and now they can't even, they don't even want to suck them out because they don't know where to dump the product.
Well, that'd be a problem for everybody living on the lake.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta start.
I mean, I have a
work
septic
through-
too, yeah.
Yeah, we all do, but.
Yeah.
But see, the septic is under us. We're gonna wind up paying for it when it fails.
Mhm,
Here, they got money flow, you know,
mhm.
what do we care, you know?
I don't think we're trying to solve problems here right now. This is a draft, and we're trying to look at the ordinance and see if we got something that we go to the next step and get a couple of groups together to go in front of a committee, and we get more ideals of what they think about it, to be able to go to the township board and provide them with enough information for them to make some decision. That's kind of what we're looking for.
Mhm.
We're not trying to solve septic systems or anything like that.
No, but what I am hearing, and I wanna make sure I'm hearing it correctly, is there a consensus among this commission that when it comes to occupancy, our primary concern is health and safety?
Correct.
Is the septic system adequate? Is there proper fire extinguishers and alarms and that type of thing? Okay. So that,
There's more to it than that. You can't have 15 people in a one-bedroom house.
well, that would go to the fire department going in and making sure there was, beds and fire,
Then you got a one-bedroom
Yeah,
house with a
right.
lot of property,
yeah.
so they're using that septic. For the, you know what I'm saying? So they can put, I don't care what you're saying, but that's where you get, you have to have porta potties if you have a big party coming on your property. I know you don't want I mean, we're not trying to solve problems.
We're not
but
trying to, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I get it, but, whatever I think the septic is one of the main things. And
Probably.
then the size of the house,
Probably
and then the parking.
parking.
Well, if you can't get a fire truck to the house or an ambulance,
You can't
yeah.
park on the bar lanes or somebody else's property. Yeah. Okay, and then, the other thing that we haven't talked about, but it's come up, do you have any thoughts on? Right now, it's written where, you can rent a single dwelling for at least 3 nights, but not more than 27 nights. One rental period may begin per week is what we are saying. The idea there is, the idea there is what other townships do is during the season, like from Memorial Day to Labor Day, they do weekly rentals because they can get people to come in for a week, but that you can have shorter rentals and outside of the season. I don't know, do you have an opinion on that? Do you have experience with that? I would just, whether I was renting in Door County or whether I was renting in Michigan, I always saw that, and I've been renting for 25 years. Just that, so I mean, as someone who rents, that wouldn't surprise me if I couldn't get a 2-day rental in the middle of the summer season on Saddle Lake. That wouldn't surprise me. I'm curious, but what you think about it.
I don't know why it would matter.
Okay,
It seems like a week is reasonable.
if you're the owner of a short-term rental, what if you wanna order, what if you wanna have somebody come in for 3 or 4 days in the summertime? So now you're turning it over more frequently.
To
Do
fill
we
the
care?
calendar, sure, yeah.
Do we care about that?
I mean, your neighbors probably do, and that's probably why it's written in there, but you give me a break.
Did you have something on that, Jay? Ken? Nothing?
I think at this point in time, what we have is probably a good starting point, and I mean, we could get into talking about every issue here, but we're not at that point of being able to do that,
I
really.
mean, as far as a business person, you don't want to see that, that's for sure.
Yeah, a business person doesn't want somebody coming in and destroying their property any more than.
Well, I
somebody
mean,
that-
they don't want to see like, you rent 3 days that week and that's it for that week.
Then the clean crew comes in, then a whole nother set of, I mean, the wear and tear and the fire lanes would be the thing that I'd be worried about if I lived there. That would be my only thing, but I don't really care. I'm just curious what you think.
You know, it seems like the constant coming and going with people would be,
I think when
We're
we,
gonna have public
when
comments,
we,
we
met-
will.
when we meet with these committees, we're gonna get an idea what the short-term rentals really like. I really don't have, I mean, Jeff, do you do one night rentals?
No, never. So we do a week, you know, during the high season, maybe 3 days outside of the high season. And outside the high season, there's lots of times.
You don't have people coming in 2 days and then 3 days, then 4 days and
No. I mean, so.
fall time, does it fall into that type criteria?
Yeah, so during the high season, it's a week only. There are a couple times when a week doesn't rent, and then you might only get a 3 day out of that week.
Yeah.
And honestly, it would be nice to be able to fill that extra 4 days, like 1 week a year or something, but that's not my biggest concern. I think it's quite reasonable to tell people in the high
No,
season, we should.
That's exactly what we're looking
That's
for
the-
when we get
that's
into
what we're
committee,
looking
to
for, yeah,
hear
yeah.
what he has to say about it, to be able to try to adjust this to accommodate.
Correct, yes,
Something like
I
that.
understand that. yeah.
So I just think we're looking at this because we were asked to look at it.
Mhm.
We got a good draft, and now it's time to go get in the meat of it, and I think when we get in the meat of it, we'll have something that will be a lot better than what we're looking at.
Were there other comments out there that you wanted to make? Go ahead.
It looks like more like you're trying to accommodate businesses in the residential area instead of the ordinance that you're trying to do to kind of protect the people that live here in the township. That's how it looks like. And in the beginning, we're talking about doing minimum 7 days rentals. With that 3 day minimum, it's 100% sure everybody's there on the weekend. So people who live around the lake, for example, like it doesn't need to be who work during the week and wanna rest during the weekend, they're gonna get all this traffic there at the time. All the traffic you putting on the weekend with the minimum 3 days. That's one.
I guess that my response to that would be, that's when all the traffic is. I mean, everybody around me on the island, you know, none of us rent on the island, and it's.
Well, I think personally, I think that it's dangerous on the lake on the weekends, so
It's overrun.
I don't go out there pretty much on the weekends.
The houses on the island,
Fourth of July is
the houses
awful.
on the island are packed with people, you know. and
It's awful to be out there at night
absolutely-
watching the fireworks. I really enjoyed doing that years ago, but I sit on the dock now.
I think it's a great idea to really regulate the STRs. I really do. And I think it's really important to find people who aren't doing what's right, just like with light and zoning. And I think it's important to make sure it's easy for people to get things corrected that aren't right. I agree with all that, but I also think a lot of what I've experienced on it is things that aren't related to short-term rentals, actually related to other, you know, second homeowners and a lot of stuff that goes on in the lake has nothing to do with short-term.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff too, and I, some of it seems like there's a culture of a lake that I don't, some of this isn't where the township belongs. It's more like, what's the culture of the lake? What is your homeowners association approve of and encourage? If it's okay for the short-term, if the short-term rental folks can't party after 11, then can the people that live there party after 11? If my dog's off leash and and I live here, but I'm a short-term rental owner, I have to have my dog on a leash. It's confusing, and there's only so much we can do. On the pet issue, for example, it's a county regulation that your dog is supposed to be on a leash. So, we could put that in the ordinance, right? But it's the county that enforces it, for example. So, I'm hearing a lot of that the complaints that are made against the short-term rental owners can also be made against the people that live there year-round. Yeah,
Now, this time limit sounds to me like you're contradicting yourself for the original reason why it was brought up, which was the people that wanted to build on Fire Lane 14 and 51st Street with the little dome houses and things. It was brought up because people don't want motels.
right.
And now we're talking about, well, we're gonna basically do the same thing with a short amount of time.
Well, it's single-family homes only. We're talking about
Well,
single-family homes
Let
only.
people come in for a week at a time or a weekend or whatever. That's basically the same as a motel.
It's been going on for a long time is the issue.
And then,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, though, that's why we brought it up, because there was contradiction on those that wanted to build there.
Yeah, it was brought up because the Airbnb world grew up. It didn't exist, did it exist 10 years ago? I've lost track of time. When did Airbnb come into existence? But it was not a way of life I grew up with, but it's a way of life now. Well, okay, does the commission have any other comments you want to make about this, or do you want us just to move forward with the committees and we'll get another draft out?
You know, well, it's kind of out of our hands anyway, isn't it?
We were asked to draft it, so I'm doing my best, and I love your
We were
input.
asked to draft it and we were asked to take a look at it by the planning commission.
Yeah, but-
Then tonight we're taking a look at it. We got some additional things that we wanna do with two committees to. But we're gonna give the board something at the next meeting where we're at and see if they want us to do a little bit more on communicating with the public or not, what they want us to
They'll
do.
need to have a hearing, yeah. Some kind of public,
I don't think you need a hearing for a police ordinance.
some kind of communication for people.
We need to have some communication. And maybe they want us to have a public, but they didn't say that at the
So
meeting.
if we meet with two committees, short-term rental owners and non-short-term rental owners, I mean, I'm flexible, so I can make myself available. But I don't know, I can't promise you we'll have a new draft by the next meeting. I mean, depends on when
Oh,
the, yeah,
we're gonna have something. I mean,
we have this draft, but how quickly
Yeah.
we get a new draft is gonna
Well,
depend on.
we could get their comments and just add their comments to
Right,
for the board to look at.
we just
and
need the comments.
See where
in
they want
organized
us to go with
fashion.
it.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the driving factor on this, actually, so.
okay, so where are we? We don't have a meeting set for either committee. Are we leaving
We're,
the
we're,
night
we're
without,
we're gonna get some input and we'll get them as soon as we can.
is there something I can do? Are you driving this?
I could drive this, Jeff can email me, give me
Yeah.
a date and I can contact the other people and,
This will just go as fast as we can actually meet and then you gotta give the person who's drafting, which is right now me, a
Well-
chance to draft.
we have,
Yeah.
we do have a township board meeting
meeting
on the
next week.
18th of
Yeah.
October for budget. That's gonna be from 9 o'clock in the morning on Saturday till we get done probably.
Is that-
I don't think this is the 18th. I think it's the following week. That's why I'm just letting you know. That's another meeting that we have before the board meeting.
Open meeting?
They're always open.
Yeah, it's an open meeting and we go through the budget. It's a real boring thing, but
9 in the morning?
starts at 9 in the morning. It's gone to 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon before.
I think they're planning on till 1, didn't you ask
Nobody
people?
gave me an end date.
It was
One
mentioned.
sounds like a good time though. That's 4 hours.
Good question back here.
Yes, I do. There's something for the board meeting. Are you gonna bring up this rental thing again or what? The politics of the board, as far as the money.
We will not be taking that up on the 18th. At the township board meeting, they'll be updated where we're at,
You'll be up there where you're at.
where we're at.
I will give you my copy of the draft ordinance okay?
Well, I'm gonna give you my email.
Okay, but I'll just give you my copy.
Oh.
All right, so you can walk out, you can look at it, but you need to sign up. You have a computer at home?
I got a laptop at home. I'll tell you the information. you put
Okay.
in there. That way, I got somebody to explain to it, there's.
You got it.
Follow.
Okay, happy to help.
Picture of us.
Okay. All right, anything else? So, all right, so we'll just proceed. The other thing is there's a 2-page good neighbor policy in here. That I'll also want you to be familiar with. And the idea is that every renter, once the short-term owner gets their certification, every renter gets a copy of this. You know, in a prominent place where they're well aware what the rules are. So, next time. Be great if you guys were familiar with that. Okay, the last thing is Ken's land division ordinance. Does anybody have any comments on that? I don't, anybody have comments on that?
It's not my land division ordinance. But anyways, in section 7, standards for approving a land division. Section D is the ratio of depth to width of any parcel created by the division does not exceed a 4-to-1 ratio exclusive of excess roads, easements, and non-buildable parcels. So basically, the problem that they're having is that 4-to-1 ratio. Now, the township may allow, and this, what I'm gonna read to you now is what I'm adding in there, it's in red. The township may allow greater depth to width ratio based on MCL 560.109 subsection 5 as follows. Number 1, the property owner has to have less than 10 acres, can file for a variance with the zoning board of appeals. So one of the criteria is you have to have less than 10 acres. The property owner provides information for the request to increase or decrease the depth to width ratio. They have to explain the exceptional topographical or physical conditions with respect to the parcel split, compatibility with surrounding land. So basically, you're looking for, are there wetlands, hills, streams? What could be something that would prevent you from doing the 4-to-1 ratio that you'd be looking for? A lot of times what people are looking at is the 4-to-1, let's say they got 100 feet of lake or 100 front of road, that's multiply that by 4, you go back 400 feet. Well, that lot might go back 600 feet, but it's back there, there's nothing you could do with the land because there's a hill, there's a stream, there's wetland, there's something that prevents it from having any value used for the parent parcel. And that gives the township the ability to have our zoning board of appeals, which Lee is our chairman, to review this criteria and see if they agree with that property owner for that variance. And then we could give them a variance. But the variance does not reduce the width unless it's required, less than what's required in our zoning ordinance. So if you're in a district that requires a minimum of 100 feet, you're gonna have to have that 100 feet. If you're in a district that has a 50-foot, well, then it could be reduced to the 50-foot instead of the 100-foot. That would be like if you get caught in one of the subdivisions. But you don't normally subdivide or make a smaller lot, you normally make a big one, so it'd be rare if you get in there. And the variance does not result in a parcel with an area less than required in the zoning ordinance, so our R2 requires 1,200 square feet to have a buildable lot, so you'd have to have 1,200 square feet. I think over in the ag district require a minimum 1 acre. So you'd have to use the zoning ordinance in the district that you're in to determine some of these variables that you gotta look at. That's the only thing that's added to it. It just gives us permission to, in our ordinance, to make some reasonable adjustments to what a person can do. And this came out of the township last board meeting. And it'll be submitted to them. Now, I don't know if that, I'm looking for someone to look at what I wrote and let me know if it's reasonable or if we need to add something with more detail or if it's adequate.
Is there a reason that this wouldn't have been addressed some earlier time and all the different times we've changed our, why?
Actually, the initiator of this was me. Back in
Of this being-
1989,
When you say of this, you mean this ordinance?
the original ordinance I wrote. I had a copy that came from Michigan Township Association, but I just made it with our township stuff.
And so why was it written in a way?
Because back then they didn't allow this townships to have this leadway back then. That was not an option back in 1989.
And what prompted the change for this?
Well, one thing, our township has been allowing them. Without a variance. They
Short-term
just
rentals.
allow them. That's one thing that's not good. And I think the second thing is we had somebody come in and said, why do they get to do it and why can't I?
Mhm.
And that's also a very good question, but you know, two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
So
So you want people to be able to do it.
So we looked at other ways to see if we could find it. The assessor and I were looking at if there's any other way that we could work around that by the changing how the property is divided, putting a road in between it. And we determined that probably the best way to do this is adjust our land division to take the exception that we're allowed to take by law. But it's gotta be in our order.
Not all land's equal,
Huh?
not all land's equal.
Not all land's equal and,
That's
you know, this
fair.
was basically set up for farmland back in the beginning because all the farmland was being taken over by subdivisions. And what they wanted to do is only allow you so many separation of parcels and so we got to where we're at.
Makes sense.
Now we're putting in solar farms and taking away the land. We're not gonna have any food and a lot of other good stuff. Another problem. Any advice? This is still probably gonna have to go to our township attorney and they're gonna have to look at the change and yay or nay.
Not offensive. Yeah, I'm really, I've already said my issue. I mean, on
Like
its
I said,
face,
I'm just looking for
yeah,
a second view.
yeah.
Always good to have additional eyes and
So I'll give you the alternate view.
pardon?
I'll give you the alternate view. In keeping with the townships wants to be a rural community, to divide parcels up into smaller and smaller sections is gonna make it more and more crowded. So maybe you should do nothing at all and just not allow it.
Well, right now it's a very small lot and it's never gonna be used for farming or anything else. And
So.
we are
so-
trying to increase the population and
So you're talking about making a small lot smaller, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
taking
Instead-
8 acres and making it 4 acres.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to give you an alternate.
Yeah,
an
I
alternate view.
understand.
I mean, to me, it devalues the land, but that's right, if you own
Yeah.
10 acres and now you bringing it down to a smaller parcel, that from a
The
financial decision isn't maybe the best. decision.
parent owns the property on the other side of this.
Yeah.
And then they had this 8 acres separate. And they wanted to give 4 acres to their son and 4 acres to their daughter, so they could have
Yeah.
them build a house and be near them.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose.
But now they'll each have their own mailbox and they'll own, so they, and they'd have to be sold separately and
Mhm.
they'll be valued differently because they're smaller lots, but that's their decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this change is ineffectively allowing that scenario?
Correct.
Oh, okay, so that scenario wasn't allowed in the past. Because was it? why?
You'd have to
Because-
have a parent parcel.
Oh, okay,
So one of those 2 lots would have to go over and take over the top of the 400, so the 400 feet back,
yeah,
that one lot can only go 400 feet back. The other one would go back all the way to 1,300 feet, then it'd come over behind this other lot.
Oh,
And this one would be called the parent because it goes to the back and you're only taking up 400 ratio, 1:4,
oh, okay.
okay?
So this allows it to be
Yeah.
just split down the middle.
Yeah, now that parcel could only be split up to 4 times,
Oh,
so that's. They're only doing 3, so they fall under the criteria. So there are a lot of, yeah. That's more convoluted than you can imagine. Especially if you get over 40 acres. then-
And is there anything you could think of, with this overview that we have going on that's gonna impact this aspect of zoning? Anything you can anticipate that go through the trouble of changing this?
Lee,
that we're
Lee
not-
might, Lee might start seeing more, zoning, variances coming through his, review process.
Does this concern you in any way?
Sure it does.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
You don't get enough nappy time.
Don't know, I can't talk about it because I have no idea what the scenarios are going to be,
Right,
but I just see it as being a lot of work. For the township, for the board, but we'll do it if they come in. Yes, I can sit there and see all kinds of problems coming up, but they haven't come up yet, so,
Well, when we get problems that come up, we adjust,
yeah, that's exactly right,
yeah,
that's exactly right.
Mr. Flexible.
everything's adjustable.
But are you creating problems?
Pardon?
Are you creating problems?
I don't think we're creating problems, I think we're making it, something that's more reasonable for something that, was unreasonable. I think that if you have 2 lots and you wanna give them to your children, and you can't because you have this division where one of them has to be a parent, so one child's gonna get more land than the other, but it's swampy back here. I mean, it's gonna stay swampy back there forever and not be used, so. What benefit are you doing besides having, still gonna be swampy? So what does it hurt? It doesn't hurt anything. It's gonna go to 2 family members and. If they sell it, somebody's gonna have a little more land, but they're still gonna have a backyard or wetland. And that's what Lee's gonna have to determine whether it's reasonable. Now, if it's really hilly too, that's another issue. If you got a bank going down and really can do nothing with the land back there, there's really no reason not to allow something like this to happen, because it's just not reasonable to put this one lot with all the back ravine and no use to it. And I looked at a lot of other ordinances, to come up with, why they're doing it, because I couldn't understand it. I probably spent more time than I did in writing this little 3-paragraph. Reading all the stuff on it.
Okay,
Oh, sure, I'm just.
so do you have our input?
I got your input.
Okay, all right. Are there any public comments? Lee?
Lee Abernathy, Chairman of the Zoning Board of Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals. Just a comment, this is a public meeting. Guys, I hate to say this, but when you guys are over there talking, and you're talking so low, it stops being a public meeting because nobody can hear you. And the frustration factor for people sitting in the back row, when you guys are talking and nobody can hear what you're saying, just drives everything right off the charts. They're no longer listening to what you're saying, they're just mad because they can't hear you. So it's a public meeting, talk up, you got amplification right there, use the amplification. If you've been to the zoning board of appeals, they stick my mic in front of everybody there, so everybody can hear it. Is my input.
Thank you. Anything else?
If, I filed complaints, for zoning violations, ordinance violations, do I have to redo it now because of the new complaint thing, or am I in?
If it's been in the last, well, first of all, check to see if your complaint's on the complaint list. That, because I think for example, the sand issue that we talked about earlier, I believe that's on there. So check the complaint list that's in the agenda packet, and if,
I have one.
well, I put the date at the top of each spreadsheet, so you know that it's what the most current spreadsheet is. This one has,
That's.
If on your computer, you go to the township website and you pull up the agenda package for tonight, you can go down and scroll down to where they have that spreadsheet.
Show them.
And then you can open it up and you got it right at your house to look at it. And you can see if your name's there and what complaints you have. And on the far side, it's gonna tell you the status of what's going on with it. Whether they've been notified, whether they're going to court, tell you everything that they're where it's at.
Can you just show, okay, so when can you click on meetings, show them how to go to planning commission?
It's on the meeting.
Meetings, okay, yeah, then here on tonight's meeting, agenda packet. And you go to show them agenda
Keep
packet.
going down.
No, it was at the top, go back up, right there, see agenda in blue and agenda packet?
That's not the right meeting.
Well, maybe not, but the process is the
Oh.
same. Yeah, so when you go to the word agenda packet for the meeting you're interested in, that's where everything is. So tonight's meeting is October 8th. There it is, planning commission, click on it. There's the agenda and then,
Then go down to the. Just click on wherever it's at.
you're in the packet right
Right
now,
there.
you're in the middle of the
Click
packet,
that. Take you right to
there
it.
it is, yeah. And you can enlarge it, so there's, I think, 22 or 23 complaints on there, they've all, the earliest, from like July 4th to today. And that I've received is there. So if you don't see it on there and you still wanna make a complaint, I would start over with Ruth, she has a form that she would fill out. And we'll take it from there with an address. Okay? Any other questions? So everybody's gonna sign up to get packets, right? 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 All right.
You got reports?
I had a report from, our zoning administrator. I'm gonna submit, to our secretary for the record. I have no other reports.
You got a report from the ZBA representative.
No, I didn't. I just talked about it. I said I got a report from Tasha. It's
You got
right
the
here.
chairman there and he made a report, can't hear.
Did you give me a report? An official report? No, we did not. No, we did not. No, he's just
He made it
teasing me.
verbal,
All right.
can't hear.
All right. If there are any other public comments, yes, Karen?
Yes, circling back to some of the items you've discussed tonight, then. I know in the beginning, the whole short-term rental, I know this is gonna be a prickly one. Because we are kind of addressing something that has been going on. I think part of the difference is, in the past, people, maybe it was their own cottage that they lived in. Or spent time in, part of the time themselves. Whereas now there's actually facilities that are strictly really commercial. So I think that's how it rose up again and why it does need to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think everyone would be grandfathered in. Because of the way the zoning was written, the commercial is specifically prohibited. Right? So I think that's where we have some difference of opinion. I wondered if you have a limit to the people on your citizens committees that you're developing? I mean, how
Nope.
did you get those?
It's been a matter of public record, asking people to come in. If you'd like to be on the committee, you're
I'd like to
welcome.
at least hear when the dates are, and if it's something I could attend, then perhaps I will. So,
Or me,
are
yeah.
you the one to tell?
No, I am. I'm running that
Okay.
committee.
You are,
I am, yeah.
okay,
She's running the,
Parks and Recreation.
Park and recreational, is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about?
no. I'm
I
on
didn't
the
think so.
short term.
I'm doing the short term, I will let you know when we're gonna meet with those.
Okay. So let me know when you get some appointments
Yep.
set up.
Soon as Jeff tells me, I will let you know.
And one of the items for those of us that do have rentals near us. I can tell you, there are times when it's an absolute joy to watch people that are new to the lake. That I can tell these little kids are just having a great old time. Those are not the ones that are the problem. It's the occasional bachelor pad, party or a wedding or a frat house or those kind of things that get loud. And the potential for more and more strangers right near where we are. And maybe they've been vetted by someone else, but to us, they're a stranger. And I'm speaking, I think, for Mario in that regard too. In their case, they share much closer quarters. So I'm just saying I'm sympathetic to his situation as well as, for some reason, he was able to get a lot of petitions, so there must be a lot of people concerned about it. And I've wondered, just as a possibility, should, I see you're starting with kind of a licensing situation. What about putting a cap on the number of people allowed to even have that registration? I'm just throwing out what ifs, things to consider. And to me, perhaps the difference between a commercial and just somebody trying to earn enough to pay their property taxes is how much of a income producing situation is it? How many occupants at a time? How many cars are they parking? Those things, just from an appearance, are like, that's when it switches from renting for a family gathering to a commercial entity. And that, I do think those have to be looked at kind of from a different lens. So the other thing, the land ordinance division, I just wondered, it almost felt like you're catering this to one particular circumstance, and I just hope you wouldn't be changing ordinance just
There
for,
are 6 others that were done at this township that are similar to what was done there. I use that just as an example.
okay. 'cause
I'm not
that's
doing it
when
because she
came up.
come in, I'm not doing it just for that lady. We've done 6 other ones that are far worse than what she's asking for.
Right, right. And I don't know what happened on those other things, if it was just a matter where,
Well, you know, when I read the law, it says the township board is supposed to be approving all those.
and they weren't even coming to the board.
I think we delegated it to the, in our ordinance to the assessor.
Okay. Okay, something to consider for other things.
Yeah. Anyways, that probably was me back in the day.
Mario,
And that was a very good point because, there was point made that sometimes the neighbors are worse than people who, come to patient. But, you know your neighbor, might be a bad neighbor, but you know what to expect from him. People you don't know all the time, or people who are every time you know. It's one point, and two, you were talking about fire lane, impact of fire lane. Is on 514 and see how it looks after my neighbor that he constructed equipment to it. And they went to my front lot, they cut the grass in my front lot and now there's this big hole in front of my house. After their heavy equipment went to it. So filing looks like right now. And who's gonna fix it? Now I'm getting my other neighbors to chip in together so we can bring some gravel in the spring. Fix that lane. But now we have to pay for it again. That's about it. Thank you.
thank you everybody for coming tonight, and we'll see you next month. Meeting adjourned. We need a motion for this
That's the time.
at 8:30.
Eight.
Yeah. How do we turn this?
Thank you, Kate.
How do we turn this off? 8:33, thank you.
You push the button on the end. Let me call Carr to knock us off.
Jay, these are for you. Can you do attachments to, these should have. Do you want me to do it, or I mean?
Sure, you can do it.
Well, you should take the public comments,
Oh, okay,
okay?
sure.
Oh, we're done. Thank you. Bye.
And put them in the minutes, okay? I will attach the zoning report.
But the action is a reaction.
Yeah.
You had a copy, you had a copy for me,
I do, right
you're
there.
gonna give it to me. I did not know I had it, I saw once I registered once with my email.